babes, welcome back. We love you. We see you. And honestly, before we even get into the absolute celebrity chaos today, can we just talk about the fact that our own lives are starting to sound like rejected Bravo storylines?
Oh, completely. Like, I am one minor inconvenience away from throwing a wine glass at a dinner party.
Yeah.
It is getting bad.
Literally same. Okay, Snark Squad, grab whatever you are drinking. I am currently holding a massive iced coffee that is 90% oat milk and anxiety, and we are toasting to surviving another wildly chaotic day. What are you drinking?
I have a spicy margarita, naturally, because the only thing spicier than this drink is the absolute unhinged behavior we have to cover today. But wait, we need to catch up first. I need to know about your grocery store saga, because your texts to me this morning were frantic.
Oh my God, you guys, do not ever go to Trader Joe's on a Sunday afternoon if you value your sanity. It was like the Hunger Games in there. I just wanted those little peanut butter cups, you know.
Right, the mini ones.
Yeah.
They are highly addictive.
Highly. And I am standing there, and this woman literally rams her cart into my ankles, just boom. And I looked at her, ready to unleash my inner Real Housewife, and she just slowly took the last 3 boxes of the peanut butter cups while staring me dead in the eye.
Stop it. Did you break eye contact?
No, it was a total power move. And then I got to the register an hour later, and I forgot my reusable bags, so I had to do that walk of shame carrying all my random snacks like a little gremlin.
See, this is why I order my groceries.
Yeah.
The outside world is simply too hostile. But my apartment life isn't much better right now. The package room in my building is currently a scene out of a dystopian thriller.
Wait, did you ever find that package you were hyperventilating about on FaceTime yesterday?
I did, but only after I practically staged a coup. It was my new skincare, which I desperately need because I fell down a massive TikTok rabbit hole last night until 3 in the morning about how we are all aging terribly because of blue light.
Oh, no, I know exactly which side of TikTok you were on.
It was awful.
Yeah.
I bought like 3 different serums at 2 a.m., convinced I am going to become this glowing, perfectly organized, financially stable wellness guru by next Tuesday.
Which is so funny because when we FaceTimed at, 11 last night,
Yeah.
you were eating pizza rolls in the dark.
Hey, do not expose my truth to the Snark Squad. The pizza rolls were a necessary coping mechanism.
I mean, same. My emotional crisis yesterday was that my phone charger stopped working at exactly 2%. And I literally sat on my floor and contemplated if this was a sign from the universe that I should just move to the woods and give up technology.
The delusions we tell ourselves, honestly. Like,
Right.
I genuinely believe that if I just buy the right acrylic organizers, my entire life will magically fall into place.
Oh, the container store delusion. It gets me every time.
Every single time.
But babes, as much as I could talk about our beautifully chaotic lives all day, enough about us. Let's get into the celebrity gossip, the viral drama, and the absolute internet madness that brought us all here tonight. Because the stack of sources we have today is, it's actually staggering.
Staggering is the exact word. If you are tuning in right now, thinking we're just going to read you a cute little list of who wore what or who's dating who, buckle up. We're looking at a mountain of federal court documents, appellate court rulings, literal CPA forensic accounting declarations, and just raw, unfiltered reality TV mess.
And the mission here today isn't just to recap the gossip. We want to actually dissect the underlying mechanics of reality television fame right now. We're looking at the severe legal consequences of living your entire life on camera, the brutal financial fallout of these highly public divorces, and how these stars are ruthlessly manipulating the PR narrative.
Which is why we have to start with the justice system, because, the courts do not care about your little storyline.
They really don't. The courts are like, we don't care about your confessional, babe. You broke the law.
Exactly. And the perfect place to start is this massive appellate court ruling that just dropped involving Ariana Madix and Rachel Leviss.
Okay, yes, we have to talk about this. So obviously, the entire universe knows the origins of Scandival. Tom Sandoval allegedly records these highly NSFW FaceTime calls without Rachel's consent. Ariana finds them on his phone, goes into a public bathroom stall.
Iconic, honestly.
Right. Very dramatic. She records it on her own phone, and then she sends snippets of it to Rachel to confront her. Now, according to the lawsuit, Rachel alleges Ariana sent it to others. Ariana denies that part. But what we really need to focus on here is the legal defense Ariana's team just tried to use, because it is wild.
It is legally fascinating and also completely delusional. Ariana's lawyers tried to use something called an anti-SLAPP defense.
Which sounds like a reality TV move, but it's an actual legal term.
Right. So, for the Snark Squad, anti-SLAPP basically stands for Strategic Lawsuits Against Public Participation. In plain English, it's a law designed to stop rich people from filing frivolous lawsuits, just to silence someone who is exercising their First Amendment rights on a matter of public interest. Like, if a big corporation sues a local blogger to bankrupt them, the blogger uses anti-SLAPP to toss the case out.
Okay, but Ariana's team tried to apply that exact defense to the unauthorized recording and distribution of a private, sexually explicit video.
Yes. They basically walked into an appellate court and said, hey, because this affair was a massive global pop culture scandal, gathering this explicit evidence is technically a matter of public interest.
Shut up. They really tried to say revenge porn is free speech because it's good gossip.
They absolutely did, and the California appellate court looked at that and completely dismantled it. The judge ruled that her actions were not protected speech, and it is definitely not a matter of public interest to distribute explicit, non-consensual media.
I mean, thank God the judge said that, but let me just play devil's advocate for a second here. From the perspective of a reality star, Ariana has been on this network for a decade, right? She is literally paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to expose secrets, confront people, and gather receipts.
That is the literal job description.
Exactly. That is her currency. So in her mind, when she was sitting in that bathroom stall filming Tom's phone, she wasn't thinking about California penal codes. She was thinking, I am securing the season finale. I am doing my job. Like, do these people get so desensitized to sharing their lives that they genuinely forget the actual law applies to them?
Oh, completely. It is severe psychological conditioning. Their internal moral compass is totally recalibrated by producers. Exposing a cheating boyfriend feels like a moral imperative on reality TV.
Right.
But the problem is, when that deeply toxic workplace behavior crashes into a federal courtroom, the judge doesn't care that it makes great television. The collision between the reality TV vacuum and the rigid justice system is catching all these stars totally off guard.
And it is escalating fast. It's not just civil suits anymore. The justice system is actively throwing reality stars in actual prison. Look at Stephen Bear.
Exactly.
He won Celebrity Big Brother in the UK, and he was just sentenced to 16 months in prison. 16 months for repeatedly violating a restraining order protecting his former partner, Georgia Harrison.
And we have to give context here because this isn't his first time. This 16-month sentence is on top of his 2023 conviction, where he got 21 months for filming a private sexual video of Georgia without her consent and literally uploading it to OnlyFans for money.
Pure evil.
Yeah.
He was put on the sex offenders register. The courts were like, do not speak to her, do not post about her. But the source documents show that between March and July of this year, he just couldn't stop. He was on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, YouTube, just posting degrading remarks and encouraging his little followers to harass her.
It's pure narcissism, fueled by this twisted sense of public visibility. He viewed the legal system not as an absolute boundary, but as, like, a rival producer trying to dictate his storyline. He genuinely thought he could outpost the justice system.
Outpost the justice system. That is exactly it. Georgia actually released a statement after he was sentenced, and she thanked the police for treating the harassment as a serious crime rather than just a celebrity story.
That phrasing gives me chills. Just a celebrity story. Because that is the insidious loophole society gives these people. We consume their worst, most toxic moments as entertainment, so when they actually commit crimes, the public reflex is to just view it as content.
Right, like, oh, it's just drama. No, babe, it's a felony.
Exactly. And the authorities used to treat it that way too. Like, oh, it's just a reality star PR stunt, but the courts are finally rejecting that premise.
But the networks aren't. The networks are still clinging to the drama, which perfectly segues into Hulu and this massive situation with Taylor Frankie Paul and the secret lives of Mormon wives.
Oh, the corporate ethics here are so shady.
So shady. Hulu just renewed the show for 20 episodes for season 6, a massive order, but they're being so weirdly silent about whether Taylor is actually coming back.
Because production of season 5 was actively halted in March. And why was it halted?
Yeah.
Domestic violence allegations involving Taylor and Dakota Mortensen?
Right. And yes, the strict criminal stuff has technically been resolved, but there are mutual restraining orders currently in place. There is an active custody dispute, and Hulu is just refusing to confirm the casting.
Let's analyze the math Hulu is doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
If a normal corporation like a bank or a school had an employee involved in mutual restraining orders and domestic violence, they would fire them immediately, just to mitigate the liability.
Obviously. You'd be packing up your desk the same day.
But reality television operates on an inverted moral economy. The liability is the asset. Hulu is literally running a calculus on public tolerance right now.
Wait, are you saying they are waiting to see if they can package this domestic violence situation as an entertaining storyline?
I am absolutely saying that. They are waiting to see how the audience reacts to the edited footage of season 5. If the audience is horrified, Hulu will quietly let her go and pretend they have morals. If the audience streams it millions of times and it goes viral on TikTok, they will 100% incorporate her legal battles into season 6. It's market research, not legal protocol.
That is so dark. It's so cynical, but it completely tracks. Like, at what point does a network's duty of care override their need for ratings?
Historically. Literally never.
Never. And we see this exact same blurred line with Amanda Connor from Teen Mom. Our sources show she is currently facing a judge for 5 serious charges. 5. Her husband, Ryan Edwards, called the cops on her in May. She is facing child abuse and neglect charges because her daughter was in the vehicle. She's facing charges for violating implied consent, which means refusing a breathalyzer when you have a license and a DUI charge. And she openly admitted to relapsing.
Okay, that is a profound legal and personal crisis. How is she handling it?
By producing it for her audience, babe. She is constantly updating her fans on social media. She was documenting herself wearing a bedazzled ankle monitor.
A bedazzled ankle monitor. I cannot even fathom the thought process.
Right. She's posting about working cleaning jobs, attending NA meetings once or twice a week. And she made a massive post announcing she voluntarily completed a 12-hour drug and alcohol course.
The performative nature of this recovery is what is so alarming. The charges are so severe, and she's acting like a 12-hour class is going to make it all go away.
Well, the fans are super polarized. Some are sweet, but a lot of people are pointing out that doing one NA meeting a week and a short parenting class feels less like a fundamental life change and more like a tactical PR performance just to stay out of a jail cell and keep custody. She's treating the legal requirements like a checklist for a storyline.
Because when your entire adult life has been documented and monetized, you lose the ability to differentiate between a real crisis and a PR hurdle. She is trying to produce her way out of criminal liability the exact same way she would produce a fight on Teen Mom. She thinks the judge is just another audience she needs to win over with a bedazzled monitor.
But the judge is not a Bravo viewer. The consequences here are actual jail time and losing your kids.
Exactly. And that transition from the criminal courts to the family courts is where this delusion hits its absolute peak. Because family courts, especially during high-asset reality TV divorces, demand mathematics. And reality TV wealth cannot survive mathematical scrutiny.
I'm so ready for this section. We are entering forensic reality. Because honestly, the CPA audits of these marriages are messier than the actual cheating scandals.
It is the collision of manufactured fantasy and objective accounting.
So let's talk about Dorit and PK Kemsley from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They are in the middle of their divorce, and we have the details from a declaration by CPA Aaron Garrett, who was hired by Dorit's legal team.
And what did the CPA find?
Wait, you need to mentally prepare for these numbers. The forensic accountant alleges that PK received $821,937 in completely unexplained deposits.
Over 800 grand, just casually deposited.
Yes. And PK characterized this money as loans, but the CPA notes there is zero documentation, no repayment schedules, no promissory notes, nothing.
Any forensic accountant looks at an $800,000 undocumented loan and immediately flags it as hidden income.
Exactly. And it gets worse. There is another unpaid $350,000 loan. PK allegedly withdrew over 100 grand in raw cash over the last 2 years. And the kicker, the CPA claims PK spent $435,000 on travel and dining post-split.
Nearly $500,000 on dinners and flights after they broke up.
Yes. While the accountant claims he is paying zero child or spousal support, leaving Dorit with all the parenting responsibilities while he lives lavishly abroad.
Okay, let's unpack the mechanics of this Beverly Hills illusion. Reality TV wealth is almost never built on actual liquid generational assets. It is heavily leveraged on debt, phantom income, and psychological projection. The network demands you show up in Chanel, driving a Bentley with a full staff. So the cast goes into massive debt to project that aesthetic just to secure their spot on the show.
Yeah, it's totally like a magic trick in Vegas. You're in the theater, the music is loud, the lighting is perfect, and the illusionist makes a tiger disappear. It looks opulent.
Right.
That is the Bravo broadcast. But a CPA audit in a divorce proceeding, that is someone walking onto the Vegas stage right in the middle of the act, shutting off the theatrical lighting and flipping on the harsh, buzzing, fluorescent overhead lights.
Ooh, that's such a good analogy.
You suddenly see the trapdoors, you see the cheap mirrors, the illusion is instantly ruined, and you are just left staring at the cheap mechanics.
The forensic accountant is absolutely turning on the fluorescent lights. When PK claims hundreds of thousands are loans, the accountant is looking right at the trapdoor. They are mathematically dismantling the projection, and what it reveals is the intense psychological pressure cooker that this type of television creates inside a marriage.
But like, how does a marriage survive that level of financial deceit when your entire job is to show off your wealth on camera?
They don't. The structural integrity of a marriage relies on privacy and a shared reality. When you introduce a camera crew that literally pays you to financially grandstand, that shared reality fractures. You start performing for the audience instead of partnering with your spouse.
Which is exactly why the newly dropped Season 7 trailer for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is pure, unfiltered carnage. It feels like every single marriage on that cast is collapsing at the exact same time.
Salt Lake City has always been volatile, but this trailer paints a grim picture of systemic marital collapse.
It's a domino effect. We see Angie Katzenevas and Sean Trujillo separating, and Sean is on camera acknowledging that if they divorce, it will crush their 15-year-old daughter, Electra. And how does the cast handle this delicate family moment?
By weaponizing it instantly.
Instantly. A new friend of, Ashley Kwai, shades Sean at an event by saying she'll finish Angie's rose, quote, the way her husband doesn't.
Oh my God. Notice how quickly a deeply painful family fracture is converted into a snappy soundbite for a dinner party argument.
It's ruthless. And then you have Whitney and Justin Rose, who usually present this super united front, having this devastatingly raw on-camera conversation about whether their marriage is just fundamentally over.
Wow.
And Bronwyn Newport split from Todd Bradley after 9 years. The trailer shows this explosive fight where Todd looks at her and says, I'm not doing this anymore with you, drops an F-bomb, and storms off the set.
If we look at the causality here, reality TV is an intense accelerant for marital demise. The show demands total transparency, but it actively rewards conflict. Every financial flaw, every whispered insecurity, it all becomes ammunition for ratings.
So if you are struggling with your husband's hidden debt, you can't just go to a private couples therapist. You have to defend your marriage at a reunion while 5 women scream at you about it.
Exactly. It creates an environment where survival requires throwing your spouse under the bus before someone else does. The storyline becomes more important than the marriage. And when the marriage collapses, the blast radius is huge.
The collateral damage, because the shrapnel hits the people who never even signed a Bravo contract. The kids, the extended family, the staff.
The ethics here get incredibly dark. It's the commodification of collateral characters.
Okay, I have to talk about this Jax Taylor, Brittany Cartwright, and Lori Krebs situation because it sounds like a scripted soap opera, but there is a real 5-year-old child caught in the middle.
A total case study in boundary collapse.
Total. So Jax Taylor is currently doing interviews in literal gym parking lots, publicly declaring his profound love for Lori Krebs. He's telling everyone she transformed his mental health. He's sober. He's the happiest he's ever been.
And we absolutely must clarify for the Snark squad exactly who Lori Krebs is.
Yes. Lori Krebs is Jax and his estranged wife, Brittany's former publicist.
Just the audacity.
She was employed by them to manage their public image during their marriage, and now he's dating her.
The sheer audacity of dating the person paid to manage your PR crisis is staggering. It shows how insular their world is. They don't even date civilians, they date their staff.
And Brittany's response is exactly what you would expect. She publicly stated they are both miserable, their behavior is sick, and that Jax just, quote, needs a mommy to manage his life. But behind the petty insults, there is a severe custody dispute over their son, Cruz.
And how is that dispute playing out?
Brittany recently revealed they don't even speak on the phone anymore. They exclusively use a court-approved co-parenting app to discuss their son. Jax recently missed scheduled time with Cruz because he was in Canada with Lori. So Jax immediately hops on a Watch What Happens Live Instagram post, because of course he did, and claims Brittany is telling blatant lies and maliciously blocked him from seeing his son, which he claims resulted in an emergency court hearing.
The fact that they're using a co-parenting app is such a deeply tragic paradox. Those apps, like Our Family Wizard, are mandated by family court judges in highly toxic divorces to create a time-stamped, unalterable written record to stop verbal abuse.
Think about the irony. These two built an empire making millions of dollars communicating every waking thought, feeling, and screaming match on national television.
They literally monetize their communication.
Yes, and now the toxicity is so bad they can only speak through a sterile, legally monitored app about their 5-year-old.
It proves that the skills required to be a reality star, hyperreactivity, holding grudges, escalating conflict, are the exact opposite of the skills required to successfully co-parent. The industry rewards the behaviors that destroy families.
And it destroys sibling loyalty, too. Look at the Chrisley family. Lindsay Chrisley just rebranded her podcast to the Southern Tea Podcast, and her literal first order of business was launching a public attack on her estranged sister, Savannah.
Over their former assistant, right?
Yes, Kristen Hook. So Lindsay and her co-host Kale Lowry claim that Kristen was secretly working with Lindsay and Savannah's estranged, imprisoned parents, Todd and Julie, behind their backs.
Right, because Todd and Julie are currently serving federal prison sentences.
Right, and Savannah vehemently denied it, saying she only used Kristen to help contact a Meta rep to get Julie's Instagram account restored. But now Lindsay is weaponizing her podcast, threatening she has all the receipts and emails to prove Savannah is lying.
Let's strip away the specifics here. In a normal family, a dispute over an employee talking to your incarcerated parents would be a private, deeply painful phone call. On reality TV, that exact same crisis is converted into promotional content for a podcast rebrand.
Do they even view each other as sisters anymore? Or just rival content creators?
I think traditional family loyalty is entirely replaced by transactional media strategy. When you are directed by producers to argue with your sister from a young age, you internalize that family conflict has financial value. You save your genuine reactions for when the red light is blinking.
Which brings us to the generational trauma of having your childhood on a television set. The roll-off Farms feud from Little People Big World is the ultimate example.
This is deeply rooted in real estate and legacy.
It's the destruction of a legacy. Audrey Roloff is currently facing public criticism from her sister-in-law, Isabel, who said Audrey's recent comments left a bad taste in her mouth. And the context goes back to 2022, when the patriarch, Matt Roloff, made the unilateral decision to list a 16-acre portion of the family farm, including the main house, and the iconic red barn for sale to the general public.
He literally tried to sell the farm out from under his own children.
Exactly. It caused an apocalyptic family rift. Zach Roloff accused Matt of manipulating the show's narrative to make himself look good. And now, years later, Jeremy and Audrey are publicly discussing their conflicted feelings over missing the chance to buy the farm, and it is reigniting all this dormant bad blood across the entire family.
But we have to remember, Roloff Farms wasn't just agricultural property. It was the literal soundstage of their lives. It was the engine of their fame, their income, and their identity.
So when Matt listed it, he wasn't just making a real estate deal, he was selling their anchor. He proved that the financial value of the land mattered more than the emotional legacy to his kids.
It was an existential threat. The kids suddenly realized their father viewed the foundation of their lives as a liquid asset. That kind of fracture lasts for generations.
We see those long-term fractures with Vicki Gunvalson from RHOC too. She is in full crisis management right now because her son, Michael, casually dropped on Instagram that he hasn't seen his sister, Brianna, in 8 years.
8 years. For siblings who literally grew up together on Bravo.
Right. Michael hinted it's because of Brianna's husband, Ryan, who Michael does not get along with. And Vicki, seeing her perfect family narrative collapsing, went into PR overdrive. She immediately claimed Michael just lives in Spain, making visits hard, and insisted they talk constantly in a group chat. She also called Ryan the perfect husband.
Which is a spin that longtime viewers are going to find highly suspicious.
Highly. We all vividly remember Ryan's terrifying on-camera anger issues. Remember when he aggressively screamed at Lydia McLaughlin's mom just for resting her feet on a couch?
Oh, that was so uncomfortable to watch.
So Vicki is directly contradicting the historical footage Bravo aired.
It brings up the biggest ethical question. Should there be protections for the children of reality stars? Brianna, Michael, the Roloff kids, they were minors when these shows premiered. They didn't consent to having their awkward phases and family traumas mined for entertainment.
They were drafted into a reality TV war.
And now, as adults, they're deeply estranged. The psychological toll of a curated childhood is something the industry has completely ignored because no one forces them to care.
And sometimes the reality is just so tragic that the superficial drama collapses entirely. Our sources mention the upcoming RHO SLC season will deal with Mary Cosby mourning the death of her 23-year-old son, Robert Jr., after his battle with addiction.
It is a very sobering reminder of the actual stakes.
It is. The cameras are there to capture petty fights over seating charts, but because they're constantly rolling, they inevitably capture this devastating real-world human grief. The collateral damage is so real.
So if the courts are handing out prison sentences, and family courts are exposing fake wealth, and kids are estranged, how does anyone survive in this industry? Why do they keep signing the contracts?
That is the perfect pivot to our next section. They survive by mastering the metagame. They peek behind the curtain and learn how to outmanipulate the producers and control their own PR spin.
The modern reality star is a highly aggressive co-producer of their own narrative.
Exhibit A, Kyle Richards, longest-standing cast member of Beverly Hills. She just gave this shockingly candid interview explicitly laying out producer manipulation. She admitted there is, quote, a lot of manipulation going on. She said if a negative TMZ article comes out about a castmate, producers will pull the women aside and literally say, someone has to bring this up on camera.
They are storyboarding confrontations based on internet gossip.
Yes. Kyle says that now, after 15 years, she tells the producers to find some other sucker to do their dirty work, but it just proves the drama isn't organic, it's actively seeded.
It shatters the documentary illusion. The producers are just functioning as aggregate algorithms, forcing the cast to weave Twitter trends into dinner parties.
Yeah.
But Kyle's evolution is what's really fascinating.
Because of her biggest regret. She admitted her biggest regret in 15 years is the season 1 limo fight where she outed her sister Kim's alcoholism on camera. She said she still gets teary watching it and would never handle a family crisis that way today. She had to learn conflict resolution by being paid to engage in manufactured conflict for a decade and a half.
In season 1, she was raw and emotionally reactive. Today, she is highly media literate. She sees the Matrix perfectly.
She sees the Matrix. And when the stars see the Matrix, the dynamic between the cast and the network gets super adversarial. Which brings us to the bizarre meta-feud between Andy Cohen and Vicki Gunvalson.
This one has so many layers.
Okay, so Vicki does an interview claiming Andy reached out to Brianna for a cameo in season 20. According to Vicki, Brianna firmly told Andy to lose my number because she was furious about how the show portrayed Ryan's PTSD.
It's a classic protective mother PR spin. It makes them look principled.
Right. But then Andy gets on his satellite radio show, Radio Andy, and detonates Vicki's story. He publicly calls it an incorrect characterization. He reveals he had a side conversation with Brianna, who was super confused by the rumor. Andy told Brianna the rumor came from her mom, and Andy literally threatened on air to read Brianna's texts to the audience to prove Vicki fabricated the whole thing.
This is a monumental shift. You have the executive producer going onto a secondary media platform to debunk the PR spin of a former star, using digital receipts from that star's daughter as leverage.
The television show isn't the show anymore. The feud over the production of the show is the show.
The fourth wall has been completely pulverized, and the next generation of stars is executing this playbook flawlessly.
Oh, Gen Z is terrifyingly good at this. Riley Burris, Candy's daughter, just went on Watch What Happens Live and executed a masterclass in PR cleanup for her behavior on Next Gen NYC.
Walk us through it. How did she spin it?
She systematically checked every box. First, she publicly apologized to Ariana Bierman, saying she reflected and realized Ariana is a good friend. Check. Then, she apologized to Georgia McCann for accusing her of using ketamine and being too poor for a Birkin. Check.
So interpersonal drama handled.
Handled. Then she pivots to macro-social issues. She evaluated Charlie Zakur's apologies for transphobic comments to Emra D. Spain, saying if apologies aren't sincere, the public should stop demanding them. So mature. And finally, she gives this emotionally intelligent update on her strained relationship with Todd Tucker.
It is highly calculated political spin by someone in her 20s. These younger stars grew up watching their parents make fatal PR mistakes on camera. They know the real power isn't winning a screaming match on the episode. It's controlling the narrative after it airs via podcasts and TikTok.
Which is exactly what Amanda Francis just did. She was a newcomer on RHOBH, and word leaked she wasn't asked back for season 16. Her rookie year was messy. She feuded with Dorit, and Bozoma St. John literally accused Amanda's business of being a cult on camera.
Being called a cult leader by a marketing executive is tough to bounce back from.
But look how she processed the firing. She goes straight to Instagram and spins this massive failure into an empowering feminist exit narrative. She says doing the show was clarifying. She called the grueling experience a ministry.
Creating the illusion that she walked away rather than getting fired.
Exactly. And in the very same post, she seamlessly pivots to plugging her new book, Holy F Fuck, God wants you to have it all, and promotes her upcoming wedding. She ended it with, "Say it with me, I win in the end."
Textbook audience funneling. She took the negative attention from Bravo and funneled it directly into her personal sales pipeline, monetizing her own termination.
So I have to ask you, if the talent knows how the editing works and they have fleets of social media managers spinning the narrative, are we even watching reality anymore, or is this just a televised PR war?
Reality is an obsolete term. We're watching interactive crisis management, the stars are actively campaigning for public favor, and the networks have to invent new mechanics just to keep us engaged.
Which perfectly brings us to the final phase, modern reality mechanics. Bravo just dropped a nuclear bomb of corporate synergy,
The crossover event.
the Bravo Multiverse. They announced a massive 2027 crossover between Summer House and Below Deck Mediterranean. The internet is losing its mind. It's like the Bravo Super Bowl. We're going to see chaotic Summer House people like Carl Radke and Jesse Solomon boarding a yacht to be served by Captain Sandy and Aisha.
It is brilliant corporate mechanics. The network knows fans consume the whole universe now. By crossing them over, they instantly cross-pollinate the viewership. It's the Marvel Cinematic Universe strategy applied to reality TV.
But not all these mechanics are made in network boardrooms. Some are manufactured by the stars in the wild. We have to talk about Kristen Cavallari and Austin Kroll from Southern Charm.
The photos from Spain.
Yes, paparazzi magically captured them in Mallorca, holding hands, leaping off a luxury yacht, looking so romantic. Now, both of them are decade-long reality vets. They both publicly claim they are strictly friends. Kristen was just on her podcast saying she's single and picky.
But they understand the visual language of the internet.
They know exactly what a high-res photo of them holding hands jumping off a yacht is going to do to the algorithm.
Flawless, plausible deniability. They generate massive engagement, trend globally, drive traffic to their podcasts, and still get to shrug and say, "You guys are crazy, we're just friends." It is peak engagement baiting.
But contrast that with RHOSLC, where Lisa Barlow is openly on camera calling out Bronwyn's new 32-year-old model boyfriend, Brandon Good. Lisa literally says to the cameras, Bronwyn always tells on herself. It seems like a big PR move.
The cast calling out the mechanics of the show on the show.
It makes you feel like a detective. You aren't watching a romance, you are investigating a conspiracy theory.
And sometimes, those investigations happen on platforms the network can't control, like the bizarre Andy Cohen and Field dating app story.
This one is so invasive. So Field is an app for ethical non-monogamy and alternative relationships. A reality star named Robert Sepulveda Jr. went totally public, alleging Andy messaged him from an anonymous profile.
And Andy's very public with his current boyfriend, Kevin Sobieski.
Right. Robert claims Andy messaged him, realized who Robert was, and said it would be dangerous to hook up. But Robert didn't respect that boundary at all. He posted a public warning to Andy's boyfriend, leaked a voice memo he claims is Andy, tagged them both, and wrote this scathing caption about people who lie and cheat.
It proves there is zero expectation of privacy left. An anonymous profile on a niche app can become global headline news in hours. The surveillance state of reality fame is 247, and it's enforced by the public.
It is so cynical. But amidst all of this, I want to end on a story that was so surprisingly genuine. It's about Harry Jowsey from that massive Netflix show, Let's Marry Harry.
Oh, this story really got me.
Right. He was on a podcast talking about the immense pressure of filming. He felt overwhelmed, terrified of looking like an idiot globally, and he shared this vulnerable detail. He said he was sitting alone, and he asked his late father for a sign. Before his dad passed, he told Harry that whenever he saw a bee, he should think of him.
A deeply personal symbol of grief.
Yes. So Harry asks the universe for a sign, gets up to use the public restroom, walks up to the urinal, and someone had randomly placed a sticker of a bee right there. He said he stared at it and just felt this profound peace wash over him.
The juxtaposition is breathtaking. You have this multi-million-dollar Netflix dating machine churning around him, and in the center of it, a young man is quietly grieving his dead father, finding a sign on a public urinal.
It is bizarre, but so beautiful.
And if we connect everything we discussed today, the PR spins, the CPA audits, the co-parenting apps, this moment is the counterweight. The reason we keep watching isn't just for the cynical mechanics.
It's for the humanity.
Yes. Underneath the Botox and the fake Beverly Hills wealth, these are flawed human beings experiencing universal emotions. Grief, the need for connection, wanting a sign that raw element cannot be entirely produced. It leaks through the cracks, and that is what keeps us hooked.
Wow. Okay. What a massive journey today, babes. We went from severe consequences in federal court to forensic CPA audits destroying marriages, to collateral damage with the kids, to producer manipulation and dating app leaks.
It operates far beyond the hour-long broadcast on your screen.
Exactly. Which brings me to the final thought we want to leave you with. We've spent 2 decades consuming reality TV as if it were the whole story. But looking at our sources today, the true reality show isn't what airs on Bravo or Hulu on a Tuesday night. The true show is the federal lawsuits. It's the CPA audits exposing $500,000 in travel expenses. It's the leaked voice notes from anonymous apps and sisters warring on podcasts.
The broadcast is no longer the main event.
The show is just a commercial. It is a highly produced advertisement for the actual unedited human drama playing out online and in the courts. Snark Squad, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Which celebrity story shocked you the most today? What is the weirdest rabbit hole you've fallen into recently? And what tiny inconvenience almost sent you over the edge this week? Let us know.
And please remember to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with another gossip-loving babe.
We love you guys. Stay fabulous, stay a little nosy, and we'll see you on the Snark side.